Hello, and welcome to Red Hawk Spotlight. I'm Dana Bernardi. Our guest today, Matt Poskay, head coach of Montclair State Men's Lacrosse team. Matt, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So you're in your second season with the Red Hawks. What are you looking forward to most in year two?
Just trying to keep the ball rolling in the right direction. Last year, under the circumstances, was a little, out of the ordinary year, being hired mid-year. So, honestly, at this point last year, I was still getting to know the guys, personally, on the field, off the field, and, very successful season. And now we kind of have that under our belts. And now it's time to, keep heading in the right direction and, get down to the nitty-gritty heading into, our first game this week.
Great. So can you describe some of your biggest challenges as you head into the season and some of your strengths, you would say, in dealing with them?
Yeah, I think, the biggest part is, filling those gaps early on. A lot of teams make mistakes early in the year. It's, I feel like you make less, you could be on the right side of the ball. But if we can fill those gaps sooner rather than later, that'll help us down the road. Obviously, we want to be playing our best lacrosse late in the year, but we'll take good games now, obviously. But, our best lacrosse, just get better every day and let that lead to a game and a better game every game we play. So the overall picture of fill those holes, replace them with the right people, hopefully, and then, let the guys kind of start to mature and be confident headed into, late April and hopefully early May.
Great. So which players would you say that you're relying on most for leadership on and off the field?
We have good core. We have a small senior class, but they're all leaders. I wouldn't single out any specific guy, but we do have our captains, which our guys lean on a little bit, and our team is looking to kind of focus on those guys when they need them. However, we kind of use everyone in that leadership role. I told our guys, I don't care what grade you're in per se, you got to be a leader. Your captains are your foxhole guys, who you're going into that foxhole with. But, everyone has to help. And, the whole picture is getting better, following, guys that may have more playing time to learn from them, and then developing yourself, and compete. We'll probably be more senior and leader dominant on the defensive end this year. We're younger at the offensive end, so that's a good stability to have early on in the year. But we have to hope that offense kind of comes around a little bit and help and get some balance at both ends of the field.
So with 8 freshmen on the team this season, are there any rookies who could be or have an immediate impact?
There could be a couple. We got some guys. We were young last year. As crazy as that sounds, I could be young 2 years in a row. But we're mature young, I guess you'd say, this year. We have young guys that are going to play but have played, and that helps. But there is some, young guys that we're going to need to step in right away. And, that's why you kind of let them dibble and dabble early in the year to get their confidence going rather than throwing them right out there and then they're, a little overwhelmed. So I think there is some guys that might see the field earlier rather than later this year, but, it's kind of a little bit of a test as well. But I don't want to make them feel overwhelmed where they, start degressing play rather than increasing their play and helping us.
So you have a couple of twins on the team this year, as well as a pair of brothers, as I understand it. Right. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So can you tell us about each of them? What's it like to coach siblings?
It's interesting. It's different to let them interact once in a while, and kind of stay out of it. But it's fun to have multiple family members. You get the whole feel. I'm sure the parents love it. That's number one. Make sure they enjoy it, and they're not traveling all over the place watching multiple games where they can really focus on their sons there. But the McCoys and McCrearys obviously are all 4 great players, and we're going to need all 4 of them at times this year. So it's fun to let them go at it. Sometimes obviously the McCoys are the same age. So they kind of probably been going at it their whole lives a little bit, where Tyler and Mike McCreary, you can lean on Tyler, who's had some experience last year as a freshman. Now Mike, you were trying to get him going. You can kind of lean on Tyler to get Mike going. You can kind of step back and let the older brother take over once in a while.
They have a nice, healthy sibling rivalry on the field?
Yeah. I mean, Mike and Tyler McCreary are both offensive guys, so it's more competitive, where Ryan and Connor McCoy, one's offense, one's defense, so they can go at it once in a while in that sense, but it's a nice bond they both families share.
Did it take you a long time to be able to tell the twins apart?
Yeah, McCoy's, like I said, the offense-defense thing helps, and McCreary's being a year apart helps, but fortunate for me, they don't look alike.
Yeah.
In my past lacrosse job, I had twins that looked exactly alike.
Oh, really?
And it took me a couple of years, to be honest with you.
So I have to ask you about another specific player, Jesse James West.
Right.
So I myself personally have seen the YouTube videos. He's got this incredible following. He seems like he just loves lacrosse and really puts the work in. What kind of teammate and player is he?
Yeah, no, he's great to have around, and obviously, he is taking advantage of Montclair State and our lacrosse as a platform for his social media and YouTube prowess. He, does things the right way, I feel like. I don't need to feel like I got to crack down on what he's doing. He's promoting us the correct way, and he's telling the truth of what we are and what a great spot this is. And, he's got a great follower. I like to tease him about it once in a while. That's fine to, follow his old guidelines in shooting and that kind of thing. But, I think it's good for us. I think it's good for him. And, that's obviously the career path he wants to go down, and he's got a great head start of a lot of people, especially for his age, and lacrosse benefits, and going down the road, whether it's lacrosse or that platform. I think he'll be successful.
Does it keep everybody on their best behavior around the locker room when he's walking around with a camera filming?
At times, I think he's a smart editor. I'm not sure when I'm going to let him mic me up per se. But we're. It's nice to have around. I think the guys like it too. They get out there a little bit, and he uses that in a positive way, and that's what I care about.
So after spending 7 seasons at Wagner College, what motivated your move back to Montclair?
It was a multiple of things. I'm a New Jersey guy. I love New Jersey, and I thought it was a great step for me. I recruited well here, and obviously we like New Jersey kids. We like out-of-state kids too, but it's got a good core of New Jersey talent here. And with a young one at home, it was a little easier to get more time being closer. I think the time, looking back, is about the same. The mileage is a little different, but traveling to Staten Island every day sometimes isn't easy. And just the overall kind of success that Montclair's had, I wanted to continue to be able to build it. I think my time at Wagner was a positive experience. We definitely got the ball rolling in the right direction. I felt, my goal, I tell our players, leave this place better than when you got here. And, I felt 100%, no doubts I did that there. And it was just time for something new. And, it was a great time. I learned a ton. I was the youngest Division I coach out there, so that was hard to try to build a team and a program at the same time. And, I learned a ton, and now, I'm using those lessons every day that I learned here. And, I hope to teach our guys that kind of thing. If something doesn't go your way, how you can get it going your way versus, you can't just be satisfied at the same time. You got to keep working. And, like I said, positive experience. It was just, it was a good personal career and family decision.
So if we could go back to this time last year, the school and the team suffered a devastating loss with the passing of their head coach, Mike Schambach, right, who had been the coach for the previous 4 seasons. How did you help the team sort of heal during that time? I just kind of, honestly, we didn't try not to talk about it, but I think our guys dealt with it enough. And, if someone wanted to, we would. But it was just kind of, you got a sense of, Mike loved lacrosse and probably wanted us to just play our best lacrosse. And I think our guys focused on that. And, it's a difficult experience for them because, they lose their coach. They're kind of in limbo for the fall. I come in after the fall and, Division III rules. I couldn't spend much time with them on the field. So this time last year, I think I previously stated, I was still learning guys' names. We're week 3, heading into our first game. And, honestly say about 5, 6, 7 guys, I'm trying to figure out who they are heading into a first game, which was really weird. And, going into our first game, it was a learning experience for everyone. They didn't know my demeanor, I'm trying to figure them out, and they're trying to figure me out. There's a balance there. They're trying to read me when I'm getting on them for the correct way or getting on them to motivate them. And, I think they handled it well. I told them at the end of last year, if we had 2 wins, I think everyone would have understood
what they had to go through, the fact that we, go to a conference championship and, just fall a little bit short, that's a win. That last year's a win. And, now to just get better from there, and, life's going to throw millions of curveballs at you. And that was a big one. And, they rebounded well, and I think they're striving from it.
So you had an incredible lacrosse career at the University of Virginia and were drafted then by the Boston Cannons in the second round of the Major League Lacrosse draft. Did you know that you wanted to coach post-playing career?
Not really.
No.
I love sports, always played. After graduating from Virginia, I went back home and I coached actually 3 sports at the high school level. It was just kind of one of those things to do and hang out for a little bit. My degree says otherwise, from the McIntyre School of Commerce. But I couldn't find myself in an office building in New York City. I have to be on the field, have to be outside. And, I always joke around that I'm maybe not making as much money or using my degree as my classmates, at McIntyre. But I kind of did. Going back to Wagner, I had to rebrand and build and market a program. And you're doing the same things. I'm selling this place to recruits because it's a great place to be. And I got to talk to them about it and convince their families that this is the next step for their life and education they're going to get here to prosper for their career. So at the end of the day, you're not sure what you want to do, but if you can circle back and at least use your education for what you really want to do, I think it could be a positive thing for you.
So how did your experience playing for an elite Division I team and then a major league team influence your coaching, and how does that differ now on a Division III level?
I think you just kind of use the same principles. From my coach, Dom Starja, who's at Virginia, obviously a Hall of Famer, still a mentor of mine. I get to talk to weekly, which is great for me. And we're not even talking lacrosse half the time. We're talking just what's going on, kind of life things. And you just kind of preach the same things that you've learned. You take a little bit from each coach. I'm fortunate in my entire athletic career from high school to professional, never had a coach I didn't like, and you're going to take a little bit from each of them, maybe a little more from some, less from some. But if you kind of be who you are and kind of dibble and dabble and learn lessons and use them to, hopefully, these guys can learn from me similar lessons, I think, that's the end goal.
So what are you hoping now that your coaching legacy will be at Montclair State?
It's a funny question. I'm still feel young, and I want to be here for a while and just keep teaching things and let these guys learn and prosper. And like I said, at the end of the day, they leave this place better than when they found it. We'll be pretty good. That'll be a good lesson for myself and for them. And at the end of the day, yes, I'm going to teach them X's and O's. Yes, we're going to teach them this on the field. But if they learn the other things about life and doing the little things that we preach in the field that they're going to do off the field, that's the end goal. You want to be going to guys' weddings in years, and you want to see them have kids, and I'll be pretty old by that point. But I think that's the goal. And you're putting them in the right places, whether it's on the field or off, to succeed in life, that's the win.
So what advice would you give to, let's say, your younger self moving forward with a lacrosse career into college or post-college?
I think just stay with it as long as you can, and be yourself a little bit. Like I said, back to the coaching part of it, you take from different people, you learn from different things, but you also got to have your own self in that manner. And, don't be afraid to really excel in something and push and be outside the box, from a small town in New Jersey to the big bright lights of national championship games to the pro level. You just stay with it, and I'm a very competitive person, and I think that helps, whether it's, backyard, horseshoes or a professional game or coaching. You're going to, when the lights come on, I'm going, but at the same time, you got to get those little things going, focus on those little things, because you're never going to get the big thing unless you secure enough of the little ones.
Do you have a proudest coaching moment from all of your many experiences thus far?
I joke around now, not joke around, but talk to the guys I coached at Wagner, the first couple classes, and trying to build a program and all the stories. We always said I was saying I was writing a book about it, but I never did. And, being able to see those guys, and like I said earlier, those guys that are 3 years out of college or 4 that you still in touch with, the wins you know, and the big wins and whatever it may happen are great, but they all kind of mesh together at the end. But the stories and the little lessons you teach the guys, and you get to rehash with them over the summer somewhere, and we talk about it, like that kind of brings back the fun of it. And yes, we do bring up the games and that kind of on the field stuff, but it's the practice time you get to spend together, how much you enjoyed that with them, and then the little stuff, you know, swinging by the office or off the field, I think are the times you kind of stick in your mind more than the between the whistle things.
Great. Well, Matt, thanks for joining us. I'm Dana Bernardi. Thanks for watching Red Hawk Spotlight.